No, she got it right.
Of course.
But I have wall to cover, so more difficult. She has a nice apartment wherever she lives.
Okay. We'll do the best we can.
All right.
Welcome to Garden of the Spirit, a class studying apples from the orchard for the second time. This class meets in Longmeadow, Massachusetts, the center of the universe, and is held in memory of Malka Ruth Bas Moshe Margaret Vogel of blessed memory. Apples from the Orchard contains selections of teachings of Kabbalah from the Arizal, Rabbi Yitzchak Luria, based on the weekly Torah portion, superbly translated and explained by Rabbi Moshe Wisniewski. As opposed to the town in Vermont, Winooski, right? Winooski, same thing. Okay, we are on 69. No?
Oh,
No, we're on
71.
71.
Bottom of 71.
Now,
I just want to see if you guys were listening.
word now on 71.
Second to last paragraph.
Now the combined value of Yitzhak.
Right.
Okay, Alan.
That's what I have.
Okay, so we're in Lech-Lecha number 1. It ends on the bottom of 73. So we're 2 pages left for this. We went through the significance of the names. Avraham, 8 times 31.
Right.
Yitzchak, 2 times 20. Yitzchak is 8, times 26. Yosef is 7 times. Yosef is 6 times 26.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We didn't
6.
do Yaakov, did we?
No.
Okay. So let's take care of Yaakov now.
Well, we got
I'm
the
sorry.
first.
Yitzchak.
Yeah, before I call on you to read, I got to share the screen.
Okay.
Look at that. Rudy finally logs in on time, and then he joins the meeting on time, and then he gets called away
Yeah.
by Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Okay, number 20. Wait, this is last week.
Mhm.
No, that's what.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't know. It's Yitzchak.
Hold on.
We're doing Yitzchak now.
We're doing
We're doing Yitzchak.
Yaakov.
We're doing Yitzchak first.
We'll get to Yaakov.
We'll do Yaakov, but we're finishing up with Yitzchak.
Hold on, so let me find it.
I think you had it.
You're 20.
Yeah, we're up to here. Hey, no. Okay.
Right.
I want to
Okay.
do October.
6.
We're gonna. Okay, you have to go on so we could do it.
Right.
26. When the lights of Tohu overwhelmed and shattered the containers, there were
Yeah.
originally 288 shards. And what's 288? 288 is 72 times 4. 72 is the strongest light of the name Havaya.
Mhm.
Right? We've had that many times.
Mhm.
Yud-K, Vav-K, and expanded spelling. Havaya and expanded spelling equals 72. 72 times 4. I did see where, maybe I know where it is. Maybe I know where I saw it. That explains what the 72 times 4 is. But it is 4, and that's how we get the 288. In the account of creation, Elohim is written 32 times. Together they equal 320. And Yitzchak plus Yesod is 288. So we didn't explain what's significant about the 320. We didn't.
The paragraph before.
Just
Now.
320 sparks. All of these together are the 320 sparks.
Yeah, we didn't explain why. And usually you don't see it as 320.
Right.
Once in a while, you'll see the 32 names of Elohim.
Right.
We do read about the Reish Pei Ches, the 288 shards or splinters, but not. But rare. I don't know if I've ever seen 320 before, and I don't know what it's doing. Why it's important to point that out. Okay.
I don't know, but just happened that 288 plus 32 is 320, but
That's what we
Yeah,
just said.
they're all
Oh, you got it, yeah.
they're all judgment. They're states of judgment that were rectified by other states of judgment. They're all judgment.
Yes, but we do speak about the 288 often. Once
Yes,
in a while, we'll speak about the 32, but
right.
I've never seen it ever say anything about the 320. So we put the 288 plus the 32, and you get
Yeah, you
320.
got 320.
Then where, so 288, I understand what it is. It's for 4 names Havaya that shined
Mhm.
and overwhelmed the system. But what's 320? I don't know. So that's what we have here. And then we're going to have Yaakov, number 27. Yaakov is 182, which is 7 times 26, Havaya. So Yosef is 6 times 26, Yaakov is 7 times 26, and Yitzchak is 8 times 26. These are the 7 states of intellect in Ze'er Anpin. Yaakov left Be'er Sheva. Oh, Yaakov corresponds to Ze'er Anpin.
Mhm.
Now, notably to Tiferes. Tiferes is considered the body of Ze'er Anpin, or ground zero for Ze'er Anpin. Just like our torso is considered our body, and everything else we call extremity, except for the head. We have the head sits on the neck, and then the arms and legs, we call them the extremities. But so the really the place where it's at is in the torso. So here too, Tiferes corresponds to the torso. I think Tiferes corresponds, and the same way Tiferes is considered the main part of Ze'er Anpin. So Yaakov corresponds to Tiferes. Yaakov left Be'er Sheva and went to Haran. Be'er Sheva has 2 meanings in the Torah. We actually find the Torah says twice, at least twice, that this is why it's called Be'er Sheva. One of them is because there were 7 wells, Be'er. The other place says it's where Abraham made an oath, and it's considered
Right.
it's considered the well of oaths, or the well of oath. Be'er Sheva. Here they use it to speak about the 7 states of intellect that Yaakov. There's the connection with Yaakov and Be'er Sheva, 7 states of intellect, and that's why he's Yaakov. That equals 182, 7 times Havaya. Okay, Alan. So we're at 71 near the bottom. You can start from now.
Okay.
I give you my permission. Go ahead.
Now the combined value of Yitzchak and Yesod is 288. This too will be explained more fully in our comments in Parsha Vayera on the verse on the day Yitzchak was weaned. Where Yitzchak is Yud Tzaddik Ches Kuf, 10 plus 90 plus 8 plus 100 is 208. Yesod is 80 as above, and 208 plus 80 is 288. Now, the numerical value of the name Yaakov is equal to 7 times the name Havaya. Because Yaakov is Yud Ayin Kuf base, 10 plus 70 plus 100 plus 2, 182, and 7 times 26 is 182. These refer to the 7 mentalities comprised within Ze'er Anpin. We have already explained their significance in our comments to Parshas Vayetze, how these 7 mentalities are called Beersheba, literally the well of the 7. The 7 mentalities of Ze'er Anpin are its 4 original mentalities, Chochmah, Bina, and the 2 aspects of Das, the source of Chesed, attraction within Das, and the source of Gevura, repulsion within Das, and its 3 secondary mentalities, simply Chochmah, Bina, and Das, that it acquires when it ascends into Ima and is vested inside Netzach Hod Yesod of Ima. Alternatively, Netzach Hod Yesod of Abba becomes vested in the Chachma Bina Chesed Gevura of Ze'er Anpin, while the Netzach Hod Yesod of Ima becomes vested in the Chachma Bina Das of Ze'er Anpin. The first verse in Parshas Vayetze, and Yaakov went out from Beersheba and went to Haran.
Okay, thank you. So I'm not clear on exactly all the nitty gritty and these details, but basically there are 7 states of intellect in Ze'er Anpin. That's the main thing. Okay, 28. There are an additional 3 undeveloped states of intellect in Zeir Anpin that are reflected in the name Elohim. Elohim is 8 times 86. Elohim is 86.
And 3 undeveloped states is 258.
Time 3 Elohims. My volume was up. I didn't even notice that. I don't know how I got like that. Is 258. Yaakov, the verse says that Yaakov went to Haran. Haran, of course, is 258. So it connects Yaakov with the it connects Yaakov with he left Beersheba the 7 and went to Haran. I guess it's just connecting him with this.
It's the 3 undeveloped states of intellect. That's with Haran. So
Yeah.
3 times the name Elohim is Haran. So that's
Yes, but what exactly happens with these undeveloped states of intellect? And what I don't know. Unless Yaakov went to
you've got the immature mentalities with Haran, and you have the non-immature mentalities in Beersheba, and then they have to become matured. I would
mature.
think.
You have to mature them.
Yeah.
My Fair Lady.
Yeah.
Well, didn't he have to work 3 times 7 years to, didn't he spend 3 times 7 years in Haran?
He did 7, then 7, then 6, total of 20.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But he doesn't, it's not, they don't go into it.
All
So
right.
we can speculate. Hold on. Oh, is Rudy in the waiting? Oh, I see Rudy's in the waiting room.
Oh,
Okay, not by the hair of your chinny chin chin. Rudy, I hope you weren't waiting long.
No, I called you. It was fine. It's all
Okay,
well.
good. Okay.
You have my lulav for the morning, right?
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
my pleasure. So, okay, so these are the immature. And he's going to Haran, so that's the 258. Go ahead, Alan.
okay. There are in Zeir Anpin 3 more immature mentalities signified by the name Elohim. In contrast to the 7 mature mentalities signified by the 7 names of Aya, the immature mentalities are signified by the name Elohim.
Okay, continue.
These are alluded to in the phrase that continues this verse, and he went to Haran. The numerical value of the names Elohim, 3 times 86 is 258, is the same as that of Haran, which is Ches Resh Nun, 8 plus 200 plus 50, which is 258.
Okay, thank you very much.
What does Haran mean?
Well, you know that it's I'm not sure what your question is.
The place.
It's a
You know
place.
He went to Haran,
Yeah, but what is this? Is it a Hebrew word or?
I'm not sure what's your question, Rudy.
I'm just wondering if there's a translation for Haran, what it means.
Yeah, okay, so you know that it's the place where Yaakov was going.
Yes.
The translation is the anger. It was the source of God's anger that was directed at the world.
Wow. Wow. That's a good question.
That's why Laban was there.
Yeah. That's why Laban was there. Wow.
In fact, it is written somewhere
That's why I
that,
asked the question.
that the word Haran in Torah, not here, in other places, that the word Haran, the Nun, should be written in the Torah backwards.
Oh,
Or inversely. No,
Mm.
Lepoil, we don't do that.
Uh-huh.
Practically speaking, we don't do it. It could be that maybe some people have that that tradition, but that's part 50, which we find connected with holiness. That nun, which is 50, would be inverted.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, just like the letters Hey in Havaya, the Hey in Elokim can also be expanded with Yud, Hey, or Aleph. So we usually look at expanded spelling for Havaya.
Mhm. Mhm.
But we can also do expanded spelling for Elokim, just the same. When we do that, we have options how we expand the Hey. The Hey can be Hey Yud, Hey or Hey Aleph.
Mhm.
Now Hey Yud corresponds to Leah. Remember, Yud is the largest. It's the biggest number. When we spell Havaya with Yuds, we get to 72, which is strongest. So here too, the Yud is the highest. Leah is what we call Leah is the world of thought, and that usually we say corresponds to Bina, above Ze'er Anpin. Then we can do Hey. The Hey is the letter Hey is a feminine component and corresponds to Malchus, and that here corresponds to Rachel. So, and that's when Yaakov interacts with Malchus, going down to interact, or seeking. Leah would be Bina, the feminine component that's interacting with the feminine component above Yaakov, and if he's interacts with Malchus, he's interacting with the feminine component below Ze'er Anpin.
Mhm.
And that would be represented by the Hey, expanded with the Hey. If we expand the letter Hey with an Aleph, that's Hey Aleph, that corresponds to Yaakov, who married and interacted with both Leah and Rachel, the poor guy stuck in the middle.
Yeah, okay, no comment.
Okay? Okay, Alan, go ahead.
Yeah. As we explained there, the name Elohim spelled out with Yuds signifies the parts of Leah. The name Elohim spelled out with Hayes, this being the third spelling of the name Elohim, signifies the parts of Rachel. And the middle spelling out of the name Elohim using Alephs signifies the parts of Yaakov, which encompasses both of them, his two wives.
Okay,
Mhm.
that's what we just said. Now, Yaakov's name can be seen as Yud Akev, Yud heel.
Because he held on.
Akev heel is 172. Yaakov is 182. So Akev is 172, or 2 times 86, 2 times Elokim. One Elokim for Leah and one Elokim for Rachel. We just said there are 3. Did we say there are 3 Elokims?
Yeah,
Yep.
yes.
Okay, so one looking for Rachel, one looking for Leah, gives us 86 and 86, makes 172. And that's Akev. Then we're left with a Yud at the front of Yaakov's name. That's for the 10 letters in the 2 Elokim. So Yud, 10 letters of Elokim twice. Akev, the expanded, Akev was the 2 Elokims. The gematria of 2 Elokims. Again, this shows that Yaakov married with Leah and Rachel. He interacted with 2 Elokim. Again, this shows that Yaakov married Leah and Rachel. In other words, interacted with 2 Elokim. And that's what we want to say here. Hold on, what is that? Okay. Yeah, Jim, would you like to begin from here?
Sure. So he is therefore called Yaakov, for this name can be read Yud heel, and the numerical value for the word for heel, Akev, is that of two names Elohim. That is that of Rachel and of Leah. There are 10 letters in these two names Elohim, 10 being the numerical value of the Yud of Yaakov. This indicates that this Yud comprises both names Elohim. Yaakov is spelled Yud Ayin Kuf Beit. The word for heel, Akev, is spelled Ayin Kuf Beit. Thus Yaakov can be read Yud heel. Ayin Kuf Beit is 70 plus 100 plus 2 is 172. Elohim, Aleph Lamed Hey Yud Mem, 5 letters, 1 plus 30 plus 5 plus 10 plus 40 is 86. 2 times 86 for both wives, 172. Let us now,
Hold on,
hold on.
hold on. Okay, so that's the.
And I'm losing your sound
I
again.
don't know what it is. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're fading again.
I don't know why. I don't understand why. Let me.
I don't know if anybody else hears it, but I'm
I
hearing
do.
it fading.
I hear it also. He's fading.
Like last week.
Yeah.
When was the
How's it?
last time you updated your drivers?
That was all. Yeah, that was. So they're updated now. That was a whole different problem.
Yeah, but your volume just goes on the fritz.
Okay, I don't know.
It's
Now
better.
Now, it's good now.
I'm getting better.
I just
Better
muted
now.
and unmuted. Okay,
Good.
31. Yaakov 182 plus Adni 65 plus the Kolel is Avraham 248. In other words, Avraham is Adni more than Yaakov.
Mhm.
Yaakov is 182 plus Havaya 26 is Yitzhak 208. As
Mhm.
we said, Yaakov is 7 times Havaya and Yitzhak is 8 times Havaya. So that makes
Mhm.
sense. In other words, Yitzhak is 1 Havaya more than Yaakov.
Okay. Yeah.
You should put the
Finally-
word, hold on. Yitzhak is one Havaya. You don't have the one.
You're right. I put down Havaya. Yitzhak is Havaya 26 more than Yaakov.
All right.
Yeah. So it's yeah.
And let's do this. Okay. And finally,
So
Yaakov-
are we to infer from all these computations that our forefathers are extensions of Hashem in some metaphysical manner?
God's names. Well, we all are, Rudy.
Yeah, I know, but I get that. We're all created in the image of God. I know that. But
Yes.
it's not by accident. There is no such thing as coincidence.
No.
All these figures work out this way, right?
No, I'm not saying that they are no better than us. I'm saying we are all manifestations. What's different here is, I think, how direct it is. Because if someone's name, for whatever reason, it isn't 182, but 183 or 184, there's something to that also. Or if it's 189 or 187 or 186 or whatever, it's all significant. It's just like I think it's Allen's rule. It always works out. It always adds up in the end. It's just how convoluted, how many what's the word? How many
colos you had?
how many what?
How many
Kollels.
you had?
How many kollels? No, I was gonna say how many.
But I take deference with something you just said.
Hold on. Let me finish up, and then I'd love to hear you. How many hoops you have to jump through in order to figure out why,
Right.
Whatever, any other number. But yes, but we are all manifestations. Most probably, Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov are more direct, but also what's special, it doesn't just say there's 6 times Havaya and 7 times Havaya and 8 times Havaya. It goes through details exactly which Havaya it is. And I think I have included it, but it's not something that I remember today, and it's not something that that are easy to understand. Hold on, Rudy. I just want to get this, and I'd love to hear you. I'm looking back what we did. What we had on the right, on the left, it went 5 states of chesed, 5 states of gvura, and this and that, 1/3. It gets very involved, and I can't say I've got a strong handle on all that. But it is there that they directly relate to these 5 states and these 3 states and so on. So that does absolutely that they stand out in that. Okay, go ahead.
No, my point is that I take deference with what you said a moment ago. You said it's not that they're any better than us. On the contrary, I thought this helps point out the fact that they are better than us. They are the exemplars by
Right.
which we are to lead our lives, and that's
Guideposts. They're the
So
guideposts.
So let me rephrase that. This is what I meant.
Yeah.
Hold on. I know what I want to say. When I say that, you asked me if they are manifestations of Hashem's name. So my point is,
I asked
we
you.
are also.
I asked you if they were extensions of Hashem in a metaphysical sense.
If you mean that specifically, I don't know. I would probably phrase it as being manifestations of Hashem's names. My point is that all of us are manifestations of Hashem's names. And when I say that, I don't mean to belittle Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. I mean to lift us up.
Right, and I don't mean to be cavalier or trivial, but it could have been Joe, Larry, and Curly, right? But those weren't the names. The names were Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. And
yes,
we personally have not met them. We know about them from our teachings and from the Torah. So obviously there has to be some greater reason as to why their names were what they were.
of course.
And to specify that they are the patriarchs because of all these reasons, right? I mean, I'm just curious, that's all.
Yes, you're right. They lived their lives on a plane which is incomparable to anything we can imagine. They are described as vehicles of godliness. Okay,
Right.
Avram got thrown into the fire and he walked out.
They're chariots. They're described as chariots.
Chariots, yes.
Chariots.
I translated as
Mhm.
vehicles.
Yeah, but they chariots. Yeah, vehicles, right?
Is the Hebrew word is merkava. I translated as vehicle because
Right.
when I think chariot, I think of the Roman
No.
whatever. So I avoid the word chariots. I think vehicle is a better word. And it fits in English too. You're a vehicle for whatever. So my point is that we are all manifestations of Hashem's name or expressions. Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov were direct manifestations. Okay, we are probably, it's going through, what's the word, leaps and hoops to make the connections. But when I said that it sounded like I said that, hey, they're not so special because we're also manifestations. I didn't mean that it's not a big. I didn't mean that it's not a big deal because we also are. I meant that they certainly are, but even we are. But it's just much less direct. To say extensions of Hashem, I prefer to use the word that they're manifestations of the name of Hashem, like we all are.
Okay.
Okay, good. Thank you. And thanks for the question.
Yeah.
So now we are on, okay, so now we'll continue with 73. Jim, let's now return.
Now let's return to the general discussion of the 3 names, Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. Yaakov reconciles the first 2 and therefore takes twice as much as they do as follows. Yaakov signifies Tiferet, and we know Tiferet reconciles and harmonizes the preceding Sifirot of Chesed and Gevurah. The numerical value of the name Avraham comprises the numerical value of the name Yaakov plus the numerical name, no, strike that, the numerical value of the name Adni plus the Kola. So Avraham is Aleph, Beit, Resh, Hey, Mem, 1 plus 2 plus 200 plus 5 plus 40, 248. Yaakov is Yud, Ayin, Kof, Beit, 10 plus 70 plus 100 plus 2, 182. Adni, Aleph, Daled, Nun, Yud, 1 plus 4 plus 50 plus 10 equals 65, 182 plus 65 plus the Kolel 1, 248. The numerical value of the name Yitzchak, Isaac, also comprises the numerical value of the name Yaakov plus the numerical value of the name Havaya. So Yitzhak is Yud Tzadach Kuf, 10 plus 90 plus 8 plus 100, 208. And then 182, which we know is Yaakov, plus 26, which is 1 Havaya,
Which is odd.
is
No, no.
208.
Okay, 1 minute.
Right.
So now we said that Avraham is Yaakov plus Adni.
Right.
Yitzchak is Yaakov plus Havaya.
Yep,
So we said that Avraham is 1 extra Adni and Yitzchak is 1 extra Havaya.
right.
But Yaakov himself is 182, is 2 Havayas plus 2 Adnis. Havaya is 26, Adni is 65, and so 26 and 26 is 52. 65 and 65 are 130, and 26, then 130 and 52, you get Yaakov. So in this sense, Yaakov has 2 Havayas and 2 Adni. Avraham only had Yaakov plus 1 Adni. Yitzchak had Yaakov and 1 Havaya, but Yaakov's got 2 Havayas and 2 Adni. In this sense, they say it's double, but the bottom line, Tiferet brings balance between Chesed and Gvura. Yaakov brings balance between the tendencies of Avraham and the tendencies of Yitzchak.
Mhm. Thus, Abraham took the value of the name Adni more than the value of the name Yaakov, while Isaac took the value of the name Havaya more than the value of the name Yaakov. But Yaakov took twice what they took, that is, 2 names Havaya and 2 names Adni, the combined value of which is the numerical value of Yaakov. Hold 1 sec. And that's it.
One
Oh,
more
no.
line.
One more line, you're right. 2 times 26 plus 2 times 65 equals 52 plus 130 equals 182, which is Yaakov. That's it. That's the chapter.
So that's what made Yaakov Tiferes then.
In the
Yeah.
middle.
In the middle, but he has double.
Yeah.
Tiferes, I think the most, maybe the only or the most stated property of Tiferes is that it's a blend.
Yeah.
They say Tiferes, you have to-
Harmonizes.
What?
It harmonizes both.
Harmony means 2,
Yep.
at least minimum 2. And
Yeah.
Tiferes is a blend of 2 things. They always say that one color by itself doesn't look nice. 2 colors together, they're the right way, then they harmonize each other. That's Tiferes. So here too, you see this. Yes, go ahead.
Isn't that what beauty is? It's harmony, right?
You're asking the wrong person. I'm lucky if I walk out with matching socks.
I would say yes, that aestheticism is harmony.
Harmonious, right?
It's harmonious. You see a harmony, and as you walk out and look
Ugliness
around and at
harmony.
the natural phenomena
Right.
around you.
Yes, so that's how it's always described.
Mhm.
Just saying, just ask me is the wrong person. So here's a freebie. Here's a freebie, boys and girls.
Okay,
Amen. How much is Aleph?
1,
one,
How much is Mem?
50,
50.
no,
40.
No, no,
40,
40.
Mem is 40. How much is Nun?
50,
50,
so 91
Put them all
91
together.
so
You're
far.
91.
Yeah,
times two
twice
is
that is 182.
182.
2 times
What's
91.
half of Yaakov?
182.
Half of
Hey.
Yaakov.
Amen.
So Amen is Adni plus Havaya.
Ah,
Right.
right, 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 right.
Ay, ay, ay.
Oh, man.
Very,
Yeah,
very cool.
65, there you go.
26.
And 26, there you go.
91.
91,
So
perfect.
cool.
That's great.
It just all works out.
Yeah,
Of course.
91, 91. Oh my, that's really good. Wow. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Chaim, have you shared these notes yet or no? Not yet.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't have time. I was working on them while Alan was distracting me.
I'm sorry.
Alan, why were you distracting them?
I was
It's
talking to him.
okay. It's okay. So here's the thing. No, I Lech-Lecha 1. I don't know. I finished up. I don't know when. I think yesterday I finished Lech-Lecha 1. Lech-Lecha 2 I was working on tonight after 7. After I watched the International Space Station go over at 7:02 till 7:06. The next thing has a lot of stuff that's not clear. So I don't get a lot of what it says here, but we could start.
Well,
And
in actuality, everything is clear. We're the ones that are confused.
Got to away from Mashiach.
That's why
Really?
we repeat everything over and over. That's repetition. We need clarity.
when they write that 7 and 11 equals 14, it's not clear. Okay, yeah, I'm not talking about this stuff that we obviously don't get. Okay, so here's where we are today. Hey, Gewalt. The Torah lists 8 kings of Edom that ruled before the first king of Israel at the end of Parshas Vayishlach, in giving over the
Oh, that's all.
the descendants and the progeny of Esav. And Kabbalah considers the list of 8 kings, except for the last one, as lights from the world of Tohu that overwhelmed the system, crashed, and burned. And that's where we have the shattering of the containers. Okay, any questions?
What happened with Vohu?
Vohu?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know that. I told you there's a lot I don't understand. But this is called the world of Tohu. That God created the world. Gershon and I learned this many years ago when we had remember when we learned it, Gershon? When the tornado came through town on June 1st. And hey, that was it. It was the lights of Tohu that crashed and burned. And they were all very single-minded, myopic, didn't allow for hiskalulus, for any interdependency, and the lights are just way overwhelming and crashed the containers. And that's where we get the 288 sparks from, that now we're stuck with picking up. I did see that the 288 are, I think, only as they are perhaps in Atzilus. But as they descend through the process of creation, they break up into many smaller pieces. So there.
So these smaller pieces, are they in actuality the matter that ultimately created the universe?
I don't think so, because this is Tohu. Our universe is Tikkun. is the world of repair. And this is from Tohu.
Yeah, but didn't it go through a filter into a filter into a filter? I mean,
I don't know, but our world is primarily is Tikkun.
yeah, I understand that, but it had
Yeah.
to come from somewhere, right? So the matter had to come from somewhere.
I'm gonna guess that my thing is that I think the matter comes from Tikkun. I don't know. It might be black holes. I don't know. No, seriously, I don't know. I think that that it's has something else, but our world is from Tikkun, the world of repair. So,
So what are we repairing? If
we're
not,
repairing the tohu.
that's what I'm saying. So you're repairing.
So that's what I'm
That's
saying.
that's what he's getting at. That's what he's getting at.
Exactly.
Yeah. You're repairing those broken shards, those lights that fell, and you're repairing them with tikkun, and that's what we keep doing. That's our task. That's our ongoing task.
I don't know. I hear you. My understanding has always been that the tohu is embedded in the tikkun, and
Disperse.
If it wasn't that way, then what's the whole purpose? I mean, the whole purpose is reparation. Otherwise, God created the world in a certain way, or the universe in a certain way, and we know it all went the way that it was supposed to go with the first sin. But there had to be reparation. So in order to create reparation, you had to convert from the light to some kind of element that would allow us to create the tikkun olam, right? The reparation. Otherwise, what's the whole reason?
but
There's always a reason.
but the physical world is not the broken shards. The broken shards are embedded in the physical world.
Right.
So our physical world doesn't mean that it crashed and burned.
The physical world, you can't have the physical world without the broken shards. That's the point.
Yeah, but
You can't have it at all without those lights.
It's the
that are
broken
still there.
shards, which is an emanation from Hashem. It's a lower level emanation of the godliness of Hashem that keeps matter together, that keeps the table from falling apart,
Right.
keeps our body together. It's that spiritual element that allows this physicality to exist.
it's the spiritual element.
Yes, we know in every single thing that we can touch or see, there's an element of Hashem in it, of spirituality. And you have to think of it as a transference from one dimension to another. The dimension of spirituality into the dimension of physicality. And you can't have the physicality without the spirituality. You can have spirituality, but you can't have physicality without the spirituality. And it's the shards that broke, that shattered, that helped create the physicality that we all know, which is the reparation.
I hear you.
Here. That's why we have mitzvot. That's why we were alive, is to repair this world.
I hear you. I hear what you're saying. I can't tell you, it says here like this, it says here like that. My understanding is that our physical world is tikkun. Our physical world is tikkun.
I think we're both saying the same thing, but differently.
It could be, but my understanding is that our physical world is tikkun, and
so where did the tikkun come from?
It's not. It's that the tohu. If the tohu would have worked and wouldn't have shattered, then that would be our physical world. But it didn't work. It's the tohu. It's the tikkun that is our world.
Okay, so let's
matter.
play this out. So Chaim, let's play it out. So where did the tikkun come from?
In tikkun, there is. Hold on a minute. Tikkun is a what's it called? Tikkun is a more orderly,
You're gonna tell me it's a separate kind of state, right?
it's a more orderly creation.
I thought it was a rectification of that which needs rectification,
Okay,
or an elevation of that which needs to be elevated.
or it's a world that came down rectified, a world that was,
Unrectified.
no, maybe it was a creation that was done in an orderly fashion. Tikkun would mean orderly, and tohu would be chaos. And then
What is, was,
But wait a second, Tikkun is an offshoot of chaos. Chaos is a process, okay? Distillation is chaos. Distillation, Alan can tell you as a chemist that you get order from chaos. If you've ever seen distillation or reverberation or any, that's all chaotic phenomenon
I don't know.
from which you get order. Absolutely. You had to have the tohu vavohu to have tikkun olam. Think of it as a series of waterfalls. One waterfall flows into another. The one that precedes it is somewhat different than the next. And when that flows into the other one, then that's different than the prior one. And that's how Shem created this world. Otherwise, we would not exist. Otherwise, there would be no physicality. There has to be the spirituality to contain to keep the physicality contained.
I don't know. I don't know. Okay. But I am telling you what my understanding is. As my understanding is that Tikkun was creation in an orderly, balanced way. Tohu was chaos. We call it chaos because there was no interdependency. Okay, why was the tohu necessary? Right now, I'm not sure. My mind's not on that. But to say that the matter has to be because of tohu, I think is a leap.
Why? Why is it?
Because tohu didn't work.
No, it doesn't make sense, Rudy.
And it didn't work.
Hello,
Let me
hello.
finish.
Yeah.
Let me finish, and then I want to hear Dr. G. The tikkun is a creation that worked, and this is how we got to have matter. And tikkun by itself, perhaps, would be an orderly world, and it's fine. The problem is tohu caused the problems, and now with tohu, we have to go and find all the pieces. That means these things they're out of order. They're disruptive of the natural order. Okay, your kitchen might be fine. Okay, but there's a few pieces of broken glass, or one piece of broken glass. Don't walk there in your bare feet. Okay, what's the problem? The problem is the tohu is that one piece of broken glass. The rest of the kitchen, that's not tohu. The rest of the kitchen is nice. It's in order. You can walk there. This is how I understand it.
So based on your understanding, at what point did tikkun exist? Directly after tohu vavohu? When did it exist?
It existed after.
After, it's okay, when? When, in the process of creation, when did it occur? When did it start?
After tohu crashed and burned.
Because if
There's
we
no
have
question that it did.
tikkun is the process of repair, so it cannot be that the whole of the matter it's to be repaired. You're looking for the shards. The shards have to be not the whole matter, not the whole origin of the whole matter. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't think that tohu is the origin of the physicality, because then we have to repair the whole thing. As it wouldn't be repair. It's like a transformation of the whole thing. So
when did reparation occur? When did the process of reparation occur?
correct. So you cannot repair something that's not broken. So it has to be after.
Well,
maybe
it matters. It matters. Part of it is how you're going to translate tikkun. Does tikkun mean that there's something that's out of order, that's out of place, that needs to be repaired? Or does tikkun mean something that is firmly established?
Yeah, but tikkun, it only applies to the physical world. Tikkun does not necessarily apply to the spiritual world. God doesn't need order. God can thrive in chaos. He doesn't need order. Is something that was created for man. Who says that tikkun is for anything other than man? Hashem doesn't need tikkun olam. When did the
Wait. Right, you're saying now I totally don't follow, but it's different. Before you said that the matter that we have in the world is from Tohu.
Is an emanation from Tohu.
And I don't see that.
Okay.
Okay, I don't see that. The world we have has order to it.
So there are remnants,
But
you know, the shards are the remnants of,
If you took the essence of Hashem, if you took the emanation of the light, which is Hashem, if you took that and think of it, you know, metaphysically as a thread, if you pulled that thread, just like you pull a thread from your shirt, the whole shirt can unravel if it's the right thread.
Just
If
a
you
minute.
pulled that thread, the whole
Hello?
world would unravel. All of existence would come
Okay,
apart.
perfect. I'm giving a share now. Can I call you back? Got mine. Okay, bye. Australia, I had to take it.
That's okay.
Okay. That's why I told him just take it, call back. But
I mean,
when-
Hashem didn't just snap his fingers and everything appeared. It didn't work that way.
so what?
It was a process.
Right. And the process called Tohu didn't work.
So who's this? So Tohu. Well, we can go the whole night on this.
Well, again, our world is tikkun, and it could very well be that it depends on how you translate tikkun. We often translate tikkun as repair, but that's not the only. It's not an accurate translation.
Okay, so let me ask you the question then. Before the original sin, okay,
Yeah.
that period of time before the original sin, would you say that that was a period of tikkun?
There is, but I'm gonna guess that usually we line up that the eating from the tree of knowledge with the Shviras HaKelim. But yes, before he ate from the tree of knowledge, the Torah says that Adam was put in the garden to la'avda u'lashamra, to do the mitzvahs, to serve
Exactly.
Hashem.
Well, serve Hashem, but mitzvahs weren't created yet.
It was to serve Hashem, but generally we say that I'm almost sure that we generally line up the
Shards with the
shards
original
with
sin.
eating
That's
from the
correct.
thing. But yeah, but like we've had lots of times
So
here, you can't you can't always say exactly because this happened at this time, that happened at that time. Sometimes we do. We're going to do it here in Lech-Lecha
Yeah,
too.
but in our puny minds to try to understand, we have to do that. Okay, otherwise we can't. So my argument is that I would argue that reparation tikkun began the moment after the original sin.
Yes, but again, tikkun means to be firmly established. Okay, it doesn't necessarily have to mean.
But who's to say the world as we know it in its existence existed then as it exists now?
It doesn't have to mean that something got broken, now it needs to be fixed. The word tikkun could mean that it's a world that was on solid feet, as opposed to.
It sounds like one of you is talking in the sense of a noun and one in the sense of a verb.
or a process, yeah, not,
Just throwing that out.
Jim, are you understanding what I'm saying?
I'm understanding what you're saying, and I get it. I think that I think Chaim's talking about it, again, in the sense of a noun, and in terms of process, I think it has to be understood as that which occurs process after tohu. that's our purpose. That's why we're here. And tikkun olam b'malchus shakai. That's the whole point. That we are, it has an activity, a process, an elevation, and that's our purpose to deal with that in Asiya, okay, in Asiya. So to say that Asiya was it does have an orderly sense to it, I get that, but I think it also has a process of making or elevating or repairing, but more than repair, I don't like that word, elevating and rectifying, that's the word, rectifying.
Stabilizing.
Yeah,
But-
rectifying.
But the other point is, the world of Tohu doesn't have order. And in our natural world, our universe, our matter, there is a very strong order. Think about the atoms and the electrons and the photons and so on and so forth.
But that's being constantly is being constantly created by Orion Sof.
But it's
If
order.
it left,
It's
if it
order.
left-
It's not Tohu. It's not
I
chaos.
understand that, but if it wasn't there, it would fall apart.
But the order was only necessary when reparation had to occur. Otherwise,
You'll have
order
to.
was not necessary.
But matter is order. There we have a table of elements.
Yeah,
Okay, there's an order.
of course, those are the building blocks of matter. I
It's an
understand.
order, but you're telling me that Tohu is if matter, you're asking me, you're saying that if that matter comes from Tohu, it doesn't. There's an interdependency. Okay, if we combine molecules to create stuff, right? H2O is interdependency. That's not Tohu. Okay, our whole building blocks is of things that work together and are interdependent. That's tikkun. Tikkun means a stable, to have a stable footing, a stable base. Okay, I mean, I don't know, whatever. I'm not an expert on Tohu, but this is just the way you asked me a question. This is the way it seems to me.
Well, we typically.
I mean, the vessel shattered. That's part of the problem with Tohu, and the light could not be held by the vessels. Those vessels that shattered, those klipot, okay, are to in a sense, I think what Rudy's saying, which I agree with, are that which is what the matter comes from to a great extent, and the lights are still embedded therein.
I mean, you even say it number one. Okay, there are some Kabbalists, there are some metaphysicists that have posited that in actuality there was an eighth day, and there is an eighth day. Okay, and you even say in number one that the vessels
Right.
shattered except the eighth one. And some interpret the eighth day as being the messianic period. So Hashem originally created 8 vessels, of which 7 shattered, which produced the matter which transformed into our universe.
Right. That's what you're talking about. Right.
That's what I'm saying. Say it there in the first one. Otherwise, why would he have created 8?
There's a difference between the light and the vessel, the klipot, the vessel itself, and that's where matter, I think, what Rudy's saying is coming from, and I understand the order piece. Yes, that there has to be some order, but the process is to elevate those lights, to repair those lights, yes.
Because as we know, as Mashiach Zeiten, we will be able to see the spirituality of the table that you're resting your elbows on. You'll be able to see godliness
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Isaiah.
You look, you'll see God.
All flesh.
What you
all
drink.
flesh.
Now we don't see that because it's not Mashiach Zeiten. But we don't know what the original period of time was before that point of reparation, which I would argue started immediately after the original sin. Up until that point, even Adam, Arisha, and Chava, they were different than we are. They were made out of translucent material. Our nails are the last remnant of what they actually were like. There's some Kabbalists that say that when Adam and Chava were thrown out of the garden, that they were thrown out from a different world, that the world that they were thrown out, Garden of Eden, wasn't even on this world. It was in a different world.
Okay. I don't know.
Okay, that's why we're having
don't
this.
know.
This is a great conversation. I love having these conversations. This is
Okay.
great. We're learning from each other.
It is, and I've missed it, and I enjoy that people are
I personally,
involved and are thinking out of the box.
I find it very stimulating. So, anyways,
Very good.
Alan,
Okay.
you're very quiet. What do you think?
I'm just absorbing.
No, you don't have an opinion? You're a chemist.
Yes, I know. I know.
Absorbing Junior.
Well, we know that order comes from disorder.
There you go.
That's what I said earlier.
We know order comes from disorder. We talk about entropy, order, disorder, and how you say it, we know because your order comes from disorder, so we know that. It depends on
Well, but the whole universe
Yes.
allegedly is going into more disorder.
right.
And that gets us into evolution, which is going completely against the current, correct? Because this DNA is going into order from disorder, which doesn't make sense according to the thermodynamics. But that's the biologist, so we don't have to worry about that.
No, but
I've been told that one of the processes that is the closest to tohu vavohu is distillation. We talk
Well,
about
you boil, correct? So you go into more disorder, and
Yep.
then you condense
you're
into
creating
more
chaos to
order.
create something orderly, and that's the distillation process.
Well, first you have to.
finally, your end result is uniformity, which
That's
or
correct.
order.
But that's what you like seems
And
correct.
that's
So
process. That's process. Which is
first you have to
order.
break it all down, and then you have to condense it, and that's order and pure, refine, correct?
Right.
So that's the metaphor in that
You
you
go through
first.
a lot of disorder beforehand.
Correct. You have to break it all down into the
right.
component pieces, and then
That's right.
one part will go out, and then you'll condense it, and then you have a pure single component.
That's right.
If you're lucky. I tried to in the lab with fermented sugar. Next week we distilled that, and we had a good distilled column. And man, the stuff coming out wasn't vodka. It was horrible. Was not pure. So
Students were disappointed.
That's why
I was the only
why-
one that tried. You're not supposed to do that.
Don't drink stuff, Guillermo.
Never in the lab.
Never taste what they do. Are you kidding?
That's why you have a master overseeing the distillation process, because it is more of an art, as much as an art form as it is a science.
It is. The problem with tohu was that there was no, there wasn't, the other piece besides this is that there was no room for anything else. There was almost a kind of expanded narcissism all over the place, and it had to explode. And that is still the problem that we have in existence today. I don't see, as much as we keep trying to create, I still see the problems with that narcissism, that having no room for self, or having that ego still being the central problem that exists in the world.
So
And that's something we have to fix.
Yeah, we agree. It's the root of
everything
evil.
that you mentioned, Jim, is an outcome, a direct byproduct of the Yetzer Hara, by the evil that was unleashed into this world.
That's right. And that's what I'm saying.
Until that evil
Has no room
remained
for
in,
anything else, self-absorbed, narcissistic,
he-
the other doesn't exist, et cetera, and becomes numbed to any form of spirituality or godliness.
Well,
And that's what,
it's the antipathy,
yes, it is the
the
antipathy.
direct antipathy of spirituality.
Right,
And that's like the tohu vavohu, because
Right.
there's two forces working against each
right,
other.
right. And that's why we try to stop the accuser, okay, constantly. And we just talked about this last night with the accuser in one of our sessions. We have to. This is our job. Quiet them. That's why the accusers, we were just discussing, the cycle of Torah. So there was, I don't remember who wrote it, but the accuser was about to say, Satan was about to say, look at these Jews. Anyway, Hashem says, look, they love the Torah. They want to do through. They want to keep reading it. We have to stop the accuser. We have to stop.
And Chaim, when you look at many bodies of work, be it novels, movies, papers, existentialism, what is the major question that everyone asks? Why are we here? What we're discussing right now is the answer to that.
Yeah.
It's the answer to that eternal question. Why are we here? What's our purpose? Everybody asks that question.
Absolutely.
And now we know this is the answer. This is to repair, or whatever word you want to use. And unfortunately, it takes a long time. In our world, in God, it could be an instant, but that's why we're here.
Absolutely.
And look at all the rectifications of all the souls through Gilgal that had to be done throughout
Right.
history. And you take it down to different people who were manifestations of the same soul or reborn of the same soul who had to rectify because of this process.
Yes. Yes,
So
this is true.
I don't know.
This is true.
We tie it together. I just, nothing else really ultimately makes a whole lot of sense.
This makes sense.
Yes,
Everything
this.
else doesn't make sense.
No,
This
it doesn't.
makes
It
sense.
doesn't make much sense. I mean, ultimately, this hits a chord that there is. Thank God there is this.
There is purpose,
Yeah.
and we're not here for random.
No. This is wonderful, and it's thank God for it. I don't know. I really, it's fantastic. It's wonderful.
What you mentioned, I think, I'd just like to reiterate about the conceited ego. That was the problem in the first place with
Mhm.
Tohu, where there was no room for anything else, and how that continues to remain a problem now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you think, well, whatever. In some ways, maybe we haven't made progress. Oh, wrong one. Maybe we haven't that how little progress we've made. As I've mentioned before, on the one hand, yeah, we have a lot. And I mentioned before is, what is it, that the diet industry in the United States is worth, is it $2 billion or $400 million?
Try 60 billion.
60 billion.
Yeah.
And yet people have never been so obese like they are now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And we have psychiatrists and psychologists and therapists like we've never had before, and people have never been so crazy. And you think about that, it's like, where have we progressed as a people?
Misery is an industry. So
But we've learned so much about good eating habits and good diet, and yet we've never had such a big problem. And you go like that through each thing. It's like, what have we learned? Have we learned anything? And I'm bring this up, but it's something that we see that of what destruction has been caused by socialism. And yet there are so many loud voices here in this country for either socialism, socialistic policies, pseudo-socialism. But these things have destroyed countries, destroyed civilizations. And it's not new. It's that's Rudy. We spoke about bread and circus going back to Rome. Byzantines had a stable currency for $800 for 800 years, till they diluted their currency, and so on and so forth. There's a whole thing in 100 years ago, Argentina was, I think, the second richest country on the planet.
We lent money to people.
And they had huge farms, huge products of
Surpluses, yeah.
of wheat and so on. And it was all destroyed through socialistic policies and government giveaways,
And corruption.
in which is
Yeah, but
corruption.
you know what? The thing is, you can discuss any kind of system that you care to, whether it be socialism, a dictatorship, democracy, capitalism, whatever system you want to discuss. It's all founded on the basis of a few live off the backs of the many.
Mhm.
And that has been the way it's been since time immemorial. And it's purely as an offshoot of human nature. Human nature, and it doesn't make a difference what language you speak, what the color of your skin is, or what culture you're born into. We all have the same wants, needs, and desires. And the few that ascend to the top, they're the ones that rule. And the ones that are on the bottom, they can't stand it. And eventually anarchy occurs.
But
Resistance occurs.
I'm
Then
going to take exception with that because capitalism lifts up the bottom. And the problem is here, we haven't had capitalism in the United States for many years.
Our form of capitalism is not a true form of
We
capitalism.
don't have capitalism.
Exactly, I agree with you, because that 1% that everybody talks about is not even 1% anymore. It's now like less than 0.5%.
When we had capitalism, then the bottom was lifted up very well.
Yeah,
When we had capitalism.
right.
So, okay. We still have other things we got to do, guys. It's already after 8:45.
Yeah.
Let's call it. Thank you all.
Thank you, Chaim.
Thanks,
Always,
Thank you,
everyone,
Chaim.
for your-
always a stimulating class. God
Thanks,
bless you.
everyone, for your participation.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Good night.
Okay, good night. Good Moed.
Kol
And
Moed,
happy
Moed.
Sukkot, Chag
Sameach.
Sameach.
Chag
In
Sameach.
the morning. Good night.
Hey, cool. All right.